It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be doing another reaction discussion video that's suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. So shout out to Siberian. Appreciate the suggestion in the Discord community. This one's from TwinsMainSage, titled How to Deal with EGC Toxicity, Dead by Daylight. And this is a pretty common thing that we see as DBD players. This is pretty commonplace within this community. It is full of people like this that engage in endgame chat toxicity. And I covered a lot within streams. I've even covered it a little bit in videos and stuff like that. And one of those big things that you see with endgame is the mere fact that, like, I call this like the well, I don't really have a name for it, but it's usually the no GG, right? And basically what happens is, if you're winning as a killer player, you get 3 or 4 kills, no one says GG at all. You never see a single GG or anything like that. But if you get 3 outed, 4 outed as a killer player, all of a sudden the survivors got all this shit to say. They're like trying to insult you, or they're only gonna say GG only when they win. They'll show up to your streams if you're a content creator only when they win. You know what I mean? Like, it's very commonplace. And I've always pointing it out because it's interesting that they only say anything when they win. They never say, hey, GG, good game, you know, great play there, great work, when they actually do it, like, end up dying. It's really interesting, you know what I mean? There's never any credit being given to the killer player for actually performing well from the survivor side. This is how it goes. But let's go ahead and actually begin and talk about endgame chat toxicity.
It's in the name. It's when people are toxic to you in the endgame chat after a match of DBD. This
Right?
isn't unique to Dead by Daylight based on the horror stories I've heard from other multiplayer games, but it's practically a universal experience for everyone who has played DBD for almost any amount of time to have received toxicity in endgame chat, with the exception of console players, but then I've also heard that they can get messages through Xbox's messaging system. That's a whole other can of worms.
So I do have to add on to what TwinsMainSage here is saying. And one of those things is, obviously, I've been on both sides of the coin when it comes down to playing on console and getting messaged constantly, whether I win or lose. And same thing with PC. Played on both platforms for DBD. And I can tell you from personal experience that, like, when I started out playing the game, I would constantly get messaged all the time, especially when I was starting out, constantly getting messaged. Pretty much everything under the sun that you probably have either heard about or read has gotten sent, pretty much. And it's just as bad on console. I know a lot of people say, you know, I'm on console, I have endgame chat, but at least for me, you know, I still receive the messages. Now, obviously there's settings in your consoles and stuff like that to pretty much, at least on PlayStation, to remove the capability of non-friends sending messages. But obviously on PC it's a lot more common. I think people will even run to your profile to try to write stuff on it. That's how it is. And it's really interesting that is the case, that happens so often, and it's such a common thing within this community. I think it's very common, unfortunately. And I've talked about this before with this community. It's like, there's a really bad culture just in general around this game when it comes to the community. There's a lot of gaslighting that we definitely see. It's very prevalent, but there's also a lack of any humility and any understanding of the other side of, you know, the game, I guess you could say. There's never anybody that's trying to give people credit, or trying to tell people that, you know, they need to be held accountable for things. And you know, for their actions and stuff like that, and how they decide to, you know, conduct themselves within the community itself. And that's just a common thing. That's commonplace. I mean, you guys already know what I'm talking about. And unfortunately, that is the culture. There really isn't a way to make it any better. I mean, it's you know, it's kind of like a hive mind in a lot of ways, where they just are only adamant on, like, just specifically shitting on killer players and saying that they need to get better, but then you say that to a survivor player and all of a sudden they don't need to get better at all somehow. according to their logic. Survivors can do no wrong. Survivors can't possibly improve at their game. Not at all. But it's always a skill issue on killers. So I don't know. You know what I mean? That's just an example of the, you know, sort of gaslighting and weird sort of thing. And mind you, when it comes onto the frequency of the endgame chat toxicity, I gotta say it's pretty commonplace to see a survivor player more often than not in a killer player, and that's just math, right? Because there's 4 of them better than one of you, right? When it comes down to the receiving end, you just have a higher chance because there's 4 chances versus 1 at a time. Like, and people have conducted tests. You know, DeBrownie specifically, I remember a while back conducted a test to see, I think it was 20 matches on each side to see which one would be more toxic. I think it was like 20 something or something like that out of the 30 that were toxic messages from survivors specifically. And then on killer, they, like, you know, from the killers as a survivor player, maybe once. So goes to show. But let's go ahead and actually look into this.
Alright, number 1, the bottom of the barrel. This is hopefully a minority of endgame interactions, but this is when your opponent says some heinous shit. I'm talking slurs, telling me to kill myself in a variety of creative ways, and generally being very unsavory, to put it kindly. There are 2 types of people that I would subcategorize within this category. People that are just trolling to get a rise out of you, and people that are genuinely angry and want to make you feel as bad as they feel, so they lash out. Like, I don't know, a toddler throwing a tantrum and breaking a bunch of crayons so no one else gets to draw. I generally feel pretty neutral towards this type of toxicity. I mean, obviously you shouldn't say shit like this, but I've seen plenty of shocking things be said, and I feel comfortable shrugging it off and understanding that it's not about me, and there's clearly some personal issues being worked out here. Number 2, it gets personal.
So yeah, I mean, fact of the matter is, this is, like I said, commonplace in the DBD community. This is what they do. Unfortunately, like I've stated, improving and getting better at the game is a foreign concept to the majority of the player base. So because of that, they lash out, they get mad that they're losing, even though it's a pretty simple solution. Just improve at the game. You claim you like the game, you claim you love the game, you play it every goddamn day, you put thousands of hours into it. At some point, you're gonna have to improve at something, you would think. Logically speaking, the more you do something, the better you get at it. I guess it doesn't apply to everybody in that case. It is what it is. Right now, why do they get mad? It's because they're losing. You know what I mean? They're used to getting freebies. You know what I mean? They're probably not used to going against skilled players. They get mad. And I'm only saying that at least from like my own personal anecdotal experience when it comes down to facing these types of people that want to get mad. Now, when it comes to trolling, I think 9 times out of 10, they're really not trolling. I mean, come on. Because if it was trolling, at least it would be at least creative or interesting in some kind of way. But a lot of the times, it's literally just seething because, oh, you played a way I didn't like. So it's like, okay, like, congratulations. Like, you know, I've had people even show up to streams, say the same stuff. You know, they get all upset, and it's like, okay, like you're playing in a way I don't like either. So what? Like, I don't really care. I guess, like, I'm going on to the next match. Like, I really am not concerned with it. Because at the end of the day, like, the game in itself has tons of stuff that I don't like. It's like, okay, like, I can't do anything about it. I'm not a dev. Like, I can't change the game. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not like, which, you know, if I'm not enjoying the game, I just don't play it. And that's what I do. You know, I don't play the game.
This is when your opponent or teammate attempts to personally attack you. Some examples that immediately come to mind are angry opponents that clicked on my profile, saw that I have a YouTube channel, and then insulted my videos. Or people see that I'm a P100 Twins and say that I'm terrible at pouncing with Victor. This is probably the category.
So that right there is another thing that I also mentioned when it comes down to, you know, like getting messages on console or even getting like sort of comments on your Steam profile. And what I also talk about when it comes down to the sort of like extension of the toxicity, right? And they go outside of the game to do that. And that's what I've also talked about in previous videos. And this is what I've been saying that contributes to the killer anxiety epidemic, right? Because as a killer player, at least that's what I can speak on, as a killer player, you're going to be getting messages like these because you're going against a bunch of Survivor players that want free wins. So they want you to play a certain way so that they can gain an advantage and they can get a free win out of you. And that is not all Survivor players, but you're gonna face a lot of them that are like that, because that's just like there's just a big chunk of players in the Survivor player base, right? So you're gonna end up facing a lot of people. There's so wonderful people out there that are just playing for fun, playing for the vibes, etc., etc. And that being said, like, those people are wonderful. That's the people I want to, like, you know, endorse and show you guys, raid those people, stuff like that, because those people are who we should be trying to pay attention to, because that's how we should be conducting ourselves in this kind of community. And speaking on sort of like why it adds on to the killer anxiety epidemic, obviously, is like the mere fact that you can have bad matches and then constantly getting harassed, which a lot of people, because a lot of people will say it doesn't exist. A lot of people are not that privileged to be able to do that, right? In that sense, to be able to go, I don't experience that. I'm like, hey, that's cool. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, though. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to get at. And a lot of people also the DVD community like to do that. They say, oh, I didn't see it, so therefore it doesn't exist. And it's like, yeah, it does, because we're seeing it right here with this evidence. So it's just delusional. But anyway, going back to it. Killer anxiety, this is something that contributes to it. You're getting harassed, you're getting like searched for, pretty much, like hunted down by these people, you know. Now thankfully we live in an age where you can just block, remove, delete, whatever you gotta do, you know what I'm saying? But the frequency of it can contribute to that, and a lot of people may not be able to have that mental fortitude to be able to withstand constant harassment in that sense. You know what I mean? I can't speak for everybody, but I am saying that that does exist, that does happen. And so that, of course, is going to contribute to people with killer anxiety as it is. You know what I mean? Whether if you agree or disagree with that idea, or whether you agree or disagree with the idea that it exists or not, or whatever, or people shouldn't be having that anyway. At the end of the day, people do experience it. At the end of the day, this is something that contributes to it. And that's sort of what I'm getting at. And that's why I think that, like, I think it's way worse for killer players. Now, are there cases where Survivor can experience that type of thing too? Most likely. But I think it's much less common because in general, Survivor is just ideally more casual. Like, you're not really the focus of the match. You're not, like, you still have 3 other people that will most likely get killed as well. They will most likely get chased down as well. They most likely will get targeted heavily. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Plus, it's one killer. So one person versus like 4 at a time, you get a much higher chance just because of numbers. So that's definitely like a thing, right? So
the mill, play another killer, learn how to play, you're bad, get good, whatever, trash talk. This is in a separate category from Salt in the Wound because this usually comes from a sore loser rather than a sore winner. A killer that got body blocked one too many times, or a Survivor team that wasn't efficient enough with gens being salty at the other side for not giving them an easier time. I've engaged in trash talk, honestly, particularly in my streams. They did? They teabagged? I can't believe it. Oh, fuck you! I'm hitting you on hook. You're a sick son of a bitch. And as long as it doesn't cross a line, I'd argue it's actually a healthy way to deal with the unending frustration that Dead by Daylight can cause.
yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Anybody who tunes into my streams knows I talk a lot of shit, but at the end of the day, it's just between me and the chat, you know, the viewers, and just like hanging out, making jokes, having fun with it. It's never directed to the person. I don't actually like directly say their whole last name. I don't be looking at their profiles and trying to directly target at them or anything. It's literally just like the game character, like, hey, you know, and that's kind of it, right? At the end of the day. And yeah, I don't even write in the Endgame chat either for any of that stuff. It's usually just within the match, just having fun with it and that kind of thing. And that applies to just even like when I play any game, pretty much. You know, I'll just I'll talk trash, even if it's like single player and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's just how I have fun with it. That's just, you know, how it is when I play the game. It's fun to do that. No harm done. no foul there. But I'm gonna listen to one more here.
Number 6. Nothing at all. Crickets. A dust ball rolls past the screen. Literally nothing from your opponent or opponents. There are 2 nothing scenarios that stand out. No response after a completely normal game. I'm unbothered. I usually say GG anyway, but if I get no response, I shrug it off. No response after a really rough game. Man, if I have clawed my way to a win and I've tunneled and camped and slugged and I see nothing in endgame chat, I am relieved. That is a best case scenario for me.
So that is touching on something that I was trying to show you guys on streams, and also that I've been briefly talking about in the video, is the fact that like you'll say GGs and you just won't get any. Like, you just, like I said on streams before, is this person left, or like I probably said in a video too, like that's what you see, you know what I mean? Like pretty much either nothing, which I think it's kind of weird because like you only get GGs when they win, but then when you win it's silence. So I was like, that just is a weird double standard there, and I think that that in itself is a level of toxicity, and it you know, not as bad as like where other shit is, but I do think it's a part of a symptom of the culture of within the community, where it's like, why are we not actively trying to, you know, be like, hey, good job, like you won the match, cool, you know, you did a good play there, you know, good game, that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Make it more so a test of your ability than it is to just get mad because you played a way that I didn't like. I don't know. I don't get it. It's really strange. But as you could even see, this is being discussed in this video. It's being discussed there as well. So it's not just like my imagination. It's not like I just made it up. Like, it's legit a thing that does happen. And now we've just confirmed it. But I really want to hear what you guys think about this topic at hand today in the comment section. Consider hitting the like as well, or even subscribing if you haven't already. If you really want to support, you can become a member on YouTube or Patreon, or even subbing on Twitch. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not J-Lo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.